welcome to my channel. This is Virginia, and today I'll analyze this full moon in Capricorn on July 10th at 4:35 p.m. Eastern Time. And then we will see how this will play out for your sign, and for a better understanding, you can check your sun, your moon, and your rising. Your rising is the most important because it determines the whole house system of your chart, then followed by the sun, that is more like your soul. Your rising is more like your ego, and then the moon is more like your internal experience, how you are going to feel about it. As always, full moons are completions as the moon reaches fullness, or confrontations as the moon is opposed to the sun, and terminations due to completions or confrontations, or a mix of both. Now, this full moon is at 18 degrees with 49 minutes of Capricorn, so is ruled by Saturn. And Capricorn is the sign associated with the 10th house of career and reputation, indicating success or hierarchy. Capricorn is the goat that reaches all the way to the top of the mountain due to personal effort. And 18 degrees is a Virgo degree. And Virgo rules the 6th house, which rules routine, work, and health or service. So this is a theme that has to do with career and work most likely. If we check the Sabian symbol and we round up to 19 degrees Cap, is a child with a bag of groceries, which speaks of accelerated growth, for better or for worse, and premature responsibilities. And this reminds me, when I was a child, around that age, maybe 6 years old, my mom sent me to the bakery that was very nearby to buy 200 grams of yeast, and instead I ordered 200 kilos. So and this is back in Argentina, so the world was quite different back then. And the seller said, is 200 grams or 200 kilos? And I said, oh, I don't know, let me go back and ask. And she said, no, it's 200 grams. And I didn't know that she was pulling my leg. And I said, what about if it is 200 kilos? And she said, that wouldn't fit in this bakery. So this Sabian symbol remind me of that experience of having to take responsibilities when you're not yet ready, and still you're able to pull that off. Now, the moon is in detriment in Capricorn because it's opposed to Cancer, where she's the ruler in Cancer. The moon represents the mood, the body, the emotions, motherhood, home. But Capricorn is all about work. So we are in Cancer season. We're in summer season. We don't want to work. We want to vacay. And this moon is out of bounds if you see the table to the right, the upper right. So out of bounds means that it's out of the control of the sun's domain. So this moon is moody and wants to do what it wants to do. And Saturn, ruler of Capricorn and therefore of this moon, the so-called great malefic, though in astrology malefics and benefics don't necessarily mean good or bad, but rather easy or challenging energy, is associated with authority, with patriarchy, with establishment, with rules and regulations, is the planet of governments too. Saturn is the planet of the big lessons in life. I like to call it the great teacher. And what does the teacher do? It grades you, it tests you, either compensates you or otherwise, for better or for worse. Saturn is dense and constrict and is about limits and boundaries, so is the ruler of matter. But Saturn is in Aries, and Saturn is at fall in Aries, because it's opposite Libra, where it's exalted, because Libra gets the scales of justice, and Saturn is the archetype of a judge. But in Aries, the kinetic cardinal fire sign of war, Saturn becomes the general. And Saturn much rather be in the court than in a battlefield, like our politicians, for example. So both the full moon and her ruler are afflicted. And you can see that in the score on the tables on the lower right, which gives an overall negative. Now, this for the collective is more of a completion or a release of something related with career, higher goals and aspirations, or reputation. either due to completing a term, like a graduation, for example, or a change in an aspirations, like a career change, or retirement. That will allow you to pursue your hobby. And Saturn, in conjunction with Neptune, the planet of illusion and spirituality, but also disillusion and delusion, brings the question about if our dreams, Neptune, are realistic enough, Saturn, in order to let go of a career, maybe to favor a hobby. And because these two are in a grand sextile with the outer planets, there's a big conversation about how we need to transform and reinvent ourselves with Pluto, the planet of death, rebirth, and transformation in Aquarius, the sign of the collective, and how radical we want to be with Uranus, the planet of shock and upheaval, to make a sudden change that rocks the boat. And Uranus is at 0 degrees Gemini since its ingress on Monday. So if Uranus was at the 29 critical degree for the last new moon, now at 0 degrees is the most cardinal degree and is an immutable, meaning a changeable sign. So it's uber critical. But because it's a slow-moving planet, is a 7-year transit through the sign, so we are not going to make this change overnight. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Uranus is a higher octave of Mercury, and it's going to intensify all themes related to communication, thinking, ideas, writing, movement like commute, relationship with peers, neighbors, siblings, cousins, is going to favor the tech and AI sector and crypto, etc. The rocking of the boat, it could be both for better and for worse. In the bigger picture with this grand sextile is for a higher reason. Now, recently we had Venus conjunct with Uranus too, so this implies changes in either love or financials, because Venus rules beauty, harmony, love, pleasure, luxury, money, cash flow. And Venus is trine Pluto, facilitating the transformation in how we communicate, like our love language, or how we transact, because it's in Gemini, the planet that is ruled by Mercury, the merchant. But Venus is in an aversion with Jupiter, so both benefics are at odds. This is like a blind spot. So Jupiter is too comfortable in Cancer, and Gemini is the 12th house of loss for Jupiter. So we can run the risk of being too comfortable. But thankfully, the full moon is in a flow with the nodes of fate. The North Node is in Pisces, representing spirituality, raising the bar, and is ruled traditionally by Neptune and in modern astrology by Jupiter. Jupiter is exalted for a whole year in Cancer, benefiting our future. And Neptune is in a conjunction with Saturn, the ruler of the full moon, working together to manifest goals. And in the sign of Aries, which is the sign of new beginnings, which is ruled by Mars, the planet of action, this is action towards new beginnings. And Mars is in Virgo, which is an earth sign that helps us ground. Our intentions is mutable, so we are adaptable to the changes, and is very detail oriented, so there's precision in this change. And Mars is in a trine with the full moon, therefore it supports the mission. So this is a precise move grounded in reality, supporting the release, whatever this release is. And with the south node of letting go in Virgo, we might give up on perfectionism that keeps us stuck. And Mars is in an aversion with Mercury, and Mercury is in shadow in Leo. So this is another blind spot for what we might need to revisit whatever we do in our creative part of the chart when Mercury retrogrades. And that goes both for creative projects or things more like recreation or procreation as well. And at least there's a mutual reception here, because Mars is in Virgo and Mercury is in Leo, and Mercury much rather be in Virgo, and Mars loves being in Leo. So they're working together, even though it seems like they're not even speaking the same language. They're trying to communicate somehow. So overall, I don't see this as a negative full moon, but rather as a transition to something new that is due. And this is with the occasional growing pains that come with the territory, as what's ideal is not real, and this is very much real. And for Sag, Sun, Moon, or Rising, this full moon falls in your second house of values, self-worth, and income. And it opposed the Sun in the 8th house in Cancer. And this is all about your investments and other people's money. And this could be your spouse's money, your business partner money, or bank money like mortgages or insurance or taxes, you name it. Is also the 8th house of death, rebirth, and transformation, the house of trust and deep emotional intimacy. Jupiter, the so-called great benefic, is in Cancer in your 8th house of investments and intimacy, benefiting that sector for a whole year. So there is something here that you're letting go, probably an income stream, or you are reassessing your self-value or reprioritizing your values or the way you make money, in order also to be able to have investments, or maybe you are releasing some kind of all self-limiting beliefs that allow you to open up to trust yourself and therefore others that you're with and have more intimacy. This is in good aspect with the nodes of fate, past and future. The North Node is in your 4th house of home in Pisces, raising the spiritual bar at home, whoever you live with. And the South Node is in the 10th house of career. So you might be letting go of an identity or a reputation attached to your career because you are in the mood of expansion. This could also be a termination or redefining of your roles within your career. Mars, the planet of action in Virgo, the sign that is very detail-oriented, is in this sector and is approaching the South Node. So maybe you're letting go of all goals that they no longer serve you, or an old way of doing things within your career. With Mercury, the planet of your expression in Leo, talking from your heart in your 9th house of expansion, higher education, and long-distance travel, is also the house of foreign matters. The world is your oyster here. And this may be impacting your professional life. And Uranus and Venus, so the planet of shock and change and the planet of beauty, love, and cash flow, is in your 7th house of significant others and partnerships. So this can be anywhere from your personal relationship to a business relationship or other people, and this could be even contracts or public enemies. So there is some kind of sudden change that will affect both your love life and your finances in this sector, and is in the sign of Gemini. So this has to do with communication, so your love language, and also things done online, like things that you sign, contracts. Pluto, the planet of death, rebirth, and transformation, is in your 3rd house of communication in Aquarius, affecting the way, transforming the way you communicate to the collective. And this affects mostly peers. And the Saturn-Neptune conjunction is in your 5th house of fun, so and creativity, procreation, and recreation. So anywhere from sex and romance to children and play and creative projects in general. And this conjunction, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, is a conjunction for manifestation. And because you have Chiron in that house too, not conjunct but witnessing this conjunction, there's some new beginning, some creative project that goes on to heal that wound. And this could be anywhere from having children to a new creative outlet to having fun, to going out in the world and exploring, like joining a new meetup group, a new activity, for example. And finally, with Juno, the asteroid of partnerships, and Vesta, the asteroid of investments, in Scorpio, the sign of intimacy and truth, in the 12th house of spirituality and institutions and the unconscious mind and mental health, there is some kind of partnership that you might be considering, or you might be investing in a new relationship or new relationships that are associated with spiritual pursuits, like a higher cause or a church or a meditation group, you name it. So I hope that that gave you more of a clear picture of how this full moon will play out for you. And if you need a private reading where I can help you the most, go to astrologybyvirginia.com and know that I will never reach out, so be aware of scammers. With that, I will leave you today. It takes me some time to make these videos and just a sec to like, so please do share the love, subscribe for more, and hit the bell not to miss out. Thank you for your time. See you in the next one. Namaste.